Welcome to this summary of Undeniable by Cam Haines. This isn't just a book, it's a raw, unflinching look into the heart of what it takes to push beyond your limits, to stare down adversity, and to forge a life of relentless effort and unwavering purpose. Cam Haines, a name synonymous with extreme bow hunting, ultramarathoning, and an unyielding work ethic, invites us into his world. A world where suffering isn't avoided, but chosen, where excuses are non-existent, and where the only path to becoming undeniable is through consistent, daily, brutal, hard work. Through his own journey and the incredible stories of outliers he's met, trained with, and learned from, Cam lays bare the principles that can transform an ordinary individual into someone truly undeniable. This is a call to action, a challenge to find your suffering, embrace your passion, and write your own story of triumph. Get ready to explore the mindset of those who refuse to quit, who find a way when there seems to be none, and who consistently choose the hard path. This is Undeniable. Chapter 1. Choose Your Suffering. The journey to becoming undeniable, as Cam Haines sees it, begins with a profound, almost counterintuitive choice. The choice of your suffering. Life, he posits, is inherently filled with suffering. The question isn't whether you'll suffer, but how you'll suffer. Will it be the suffering of discipline, effort, and growth, or the suffering of regret, mediocrity, and unfulfilled potential? Cam's introduction to this philosophy was powerfully shaped by encounters with individuals like David Goggins. He recounts Goggins arriving in his town in 2018 for what would become the first lift-run-shoot experience. Even before the planned 50K, a shooting session, weightlifting, and watching UFC, they decided on a warm-up run up Mount Pisgah. Cam, an experienced mountain runner, usually uses this run to gauge his guests. He describes Goggins as having two sides: the stoic David you might share coffee with, and Goggins who you throw raw meat at. During that run, Cam was struck by Goggins's incredibly long stride. He assumed Goggins, then living in Nashville without hills, would struggle on the mountain ascent. But Goggins's stride never faltered, never shortened, even uphill. This was Cam's first direct observation of Goggins's insane ability to embrace and push through pain. Goggins didn't just endure, he seemed to get stronger. This initial encounter set a benchmark for Cam, a living example of someone who actively schedules suffering into their day, every day, as Goggins wrote in Can't Hurt Me. Cam then turns inward, reflecting on his own early life. His parents' divorce, when he was 4, marked the beginning of his own journey with suffering. He doesn't blame them, but acknowledges the hurt it caused him and his brother, Pete. This period, he believes, is when he first learned to excel at suffering, longing for his parents to reunite and dealing with the absence of his father, who he idolized. This early pain, this longing and ache, became a familiar feeling. Later, when he began bow hunting in the rugged Oregon wilderness, particularly the vast and unforgiving Eagle Cap, that familiarity with suffering found a new, constructive outlet. He embraced the ache, the pain, the misery of the wilderness. It was a different kind of misery than loneliness or a hangover. This was the kind that built resilience, that made him stronger. He realized he could thrive on this chosen suffering. This chapter also introduces Chris Williamson, a podcaster and another guest for Lift Run Shoot. Williamson's childhood, marked by unpopularity and bullying, resonated with Cam. Williamson articulated a powerful insight. Many high performers come from a place of insufficiency, driven to prove their worth. He spoke of the Puritan work ethic, where suffering itself becomes a tribute, a sacrifice. Cam took Williamson on the Mount Pisgah run, this time hauling a 72-pound rock. Williamson's experience was a testament to the brutal honesty of such chosen suffering. He admitted, "I find it very, very hard to put myself into the place that Cam's put me in today without a Cam there." The discussion with Williamson crystallizes a core theme. Chosen suffering prepares you for unchosen suffering. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way. Loss, failure, pain you didn't ask for. By electing to face difficult things regularly, by choosing your hardship, you forge a stronger alloy of whatever the metal is that you're made of. You build a resilience that humbles you and reminds you of your mortality, yet arms you against life's inevitable blows. This is the essence of choosing your suffering. It's not about masochism, but about intentional fortification. It's about understanding, as Goggins puts it, that it takes relentless self-discipline to schedule that suffering, to make it a non-negotiable part of your existence. For Cam Hanes, this philosophy became the bedrock of his journey into the wild and into himself. Chapter 2. Find a way. To be undeniable means more than just enduring suffering. It means possessing an unshakable resolve to find a way. When faced with obstacles, with doubt, with what seems impossible, the undeniable individual doesn't back down. They dig deeper, they innovate, they persevere. Cam illustrates this with the intense pressure and preparation for his first ever sheep tag in Alaska in 2008. Success rates for this hunt were abysmal, often as low as 1%. He knew he had to be at the absolute peak of his game. His training regimen was brutal, including a memorable Forest Park Ultra in Portland, Oregon. This 50K race, with over 3,000 feet of elevation gain, turned into an odyssey. Early in the race, while running with ultra legend Hal Kerner and Ryan Melcher, they discovered course markers had been vandalized. They went miles off course, losing a significant amount of time. Frustration mounted. Hal Kerner, one of the best in the world, dropped out. Cam contemplated quitting too. But then he remembered why he was there. This wasn't just about a race. It was about forging the mental and physical toughness required for the upcoming sheep hunt. This difficult race was a crucible. He pushed on, running through soupy muck, falling, deciphering maps, passing dozens of runners. He ended up running an estimated 5 extra miles and finished 4th. The experience, though not a win, was a profound lesson in finding a way, in pushing through pain and frustration when everything screamed, "Quit." This relentless drive is a hallmark of outliers. Cam introduces Ned Brockman, an Australian electrician who, after seeing homelessness in Sydney, decided to run 50 marathons in 50 days while working full-time, just to raise money and awareness. When Ned heard of others like Dean Karnazes doing similar feats, his question wasn't, "How?" but "Why can't I do that?" He faced down doctors who told him it was physically impossible, and on day 50, he called them up. Later, Ned ran across Australia, nearly 100K, 62 miles, every day for 46 consecutive days, creating a movement. His philosophy? There's no real blueprint. It's just find a way. Then there's retired NFL defensive end Derek Wolfe. Wolfe grew up in hardship, but knew from age 7 he wanted to play in the NFL. Teachers discounted his dreams, but Wolfe's internal response was, "Whatever, I'm going to do it." He did. His rough childhood, he explains, prepared him for the pain and adversity of the NFL. He learned to be a savage. He understood that you either get better or you get worse. you never stay the same. This drive to constantly improve, to find a way to be better, is what separates the successful from the stagnant. The chapter culminates with Cam's own Dal sheep hunt in Alaska, guided by his legendary friend, Roy Roth. On his 41st birthday, after a year of intense preparation, Cam found himself perched on a treacherous mountain. He saw his dream ram. He got within 23 yards, a chip shot, and he missed. The arrow hit low, cutting the ram's leg. Devastation. How could I screw that up? He tortured himself. But despondency couldn't kill his resolve. He and Roy, on the same page, without a word, began the tough, blood-trailing job. They found the ram, and Cam made a final shot. But as he grabbed the dying ram's horns, at the edge of a 500-foot drop-off, the animal thrashed, threatening to pull them both over. Cam held on, a literal life-and-death struggle. He found a way to secure the ram, his determination absolute. Roy Roth's words from that hunt resonate. You just go the extra mile. You have to find that lone ram, and you got to exploit those opportunities and just make it work. Even when it seems impossible, you keep working at it. This, for Cam Hanes, is the essence of Find a Way. It's about determination, pushing beyond perceived limits, and like that sheep hunt, literally holding onto your dreams when they're trying to drag you over the edge. Chapter 3. Make a good shot. In the world of undeniable performers, crunch time is where everything converges. All the preparation, the sacrifice, the relentless training, it all boils down to one moment, one opportunity. For a bow hunter, it's the shot. For an athlete, the game-winning play. The ability to make a good shot under immense pressure is what separates the consistently successful from the occasionally lucky. Cam Hanes emphasizes that his archery success over 35 years stems from consistent, daily practice. He shoots his bow every single day, regardless of conditions, aiming to make the act as natural as breathing. He understands that you can be the best hunter, in the best shape, but if you can't make the shot when it counts, success remains elusive. He creates pressure in practice to simulate these high-intensity moments, like shooting through his truck window, or famously, cutting the ribbon at a Cabela's grand opening in Springfield, Oregon, with an arrow in front of 2,000 people and TV crews. He knew one miss would define him as that guy who missed. He made the shot. He contrasts the focus required in bow hunting with other sports. While a pro golfer feels pressure putting, the ball is lifeless. In football or baseball, athletes react. But bow hunting, a raging bull elk, 800 pounds of wildness crashing in, requires an extraordinary, almost preternatural focus. Buck fever is real, adrenaline overwhelming, and many crumble. Cam's focus remains on a perfect shot, blocking out everything else. This is honed through decades of high-pressure reps, facing charging bears, hunting lions in Africa, killing Cape buffalo. This laser focus is personified by world champion archer Levi Morgan, the GOAT of archery. Levi, a self-proclaimed redneck from the Carolinas who just loves to shoot, visited Cam for a lift-run shoot. Growing up, Levi's father sacrificed everything for him to compete. His rookie year in 2006 was tough. No sponsors, no top 5 finishes. But in the off-season, Levi meticulously logged everything. Targets, lighting, terrain, his own performance. He identified weaknesses and systematically worked to fix them. After a low point in 2007, he set an all-time high score at one event, and for the next 15 years became the greatest archer ever. Levi's secret? Not just innate talent, but an incredible ability to focus on every single arrow, every time. He learned to judge yardage perfectly, a critical skill since rangefinders aren't allowed in his tournaments. He told Cam that the key difference between tournaments and hunting is control. In a tournament, the environment is controlled. Hunting is unpredictable. A buck might give you only 8 seconds. But hunting, Levi says, teaches him a lot and prepares him for tournaments. He learned the most during moments of failure, analyzing what went wrong and how to execute better under pressure when panic sets in. His nickname, Manimal, reflects his tunnel vision and attacking mindset, always focused on winning. Focus, Cam explains, often breaks down due to fear. Fear of failure, fear of falling behind, even fear of a giant bear. Conquering these fears is part of the journey. He recalls his own early days, feeling utterly harmless with a stick and string, taking 18 straight days of supreme effort to arrow his first spike bull elk. He wrote in his book, Backcountry Bowhunting, "Learn to control your fear, or your fear will control you." The chapter features a poignant Cam Hanes quote, "Focused attention is infinitely more valuable than an idle mind." He recounts an everyday gym-goer who almost got a bull but was shaking too badly to shoot, a normal experience for beginners. The key is to practice for that moment, to realize, okay, I need to be in control, and I need to do everything that I practiced and make that shot. This mastery of focus is further explored through Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist who, during his lift-run shoot, was fascinated by the narrow cone of attention archery demands, making time seem to slow down. Archery, like ice-cold baths, forces tunnel vision focus, a valuable skill in our distracted world. Professional trail runner Sally McRae echoed this, finding archery peaceful because it demanded her complete attention, forcing her to focus on the teeny, tiny dot of the balloon target. She warned against comparison as the thief of joy and urged listeners to focus on their own path, their own goals, rather than being distracted by others. For Cam Hanes, focus over the long haul has compensated for any perceived lack of natural talent. It's about squelching fears through relentless preparation, becoming the predator, not the prey. It's about the mindset of Fred Bear's famous quote, "Nothing clears a troubled mind like shooting a bow." Making a good shot, then, is more than just hitting a target. It's a culmination of discipline, mental fortitude, and an unwavering focus on the task at hand, no matter the pressure. Chapter 4. Get up and go. If there's one constant theme among undeniable people, Cam Hanes asserts, it's consistency. It's the relentless, day-in, day-out commitment to hard work and effort, regardless of circumstance or feeling. This isn't just about sports. It applies to business, relationships, leadership, every facet of life. Without consistent effort, the whole ship sinks. Every outlier Cam has met, run with, and shot bows with works hard every single day. This consistency is what truly sets them apart. Cam himself embodies this. When Joe Rogan first learned Cam lifts, runs, and shoots every single day with no days off, he was surprised. But for Cam, it's non-negotiable. He admits he's not the most amazing athlete or the best shot, but his refusal to stop, his commitment to giving everything, is his daily grind. He profiles Nick Bear, U.S. Army veteran, founder of Bear Performance Nutrition, BPN, and an endurance beast. Nick, who described himself as average growing up, transformed his life after an eating disorder. His journey into fitness led him to declare, after leaving the military, that he'd never run again. But he missed it. An 18-mile training run in Austin, cold and wet, nearly broke him. He stopped, walked, but then forced himself to continue, running an extra mile beyond his goal. He wrote one more on his hat, a mantra that has inspired a generation. Nick's success with BPN wasn't overnight. It was built on compounding consistency. His running coach's wisdom: it's better to be consistently good than occasionally great. Nick faced haters when he aimed for a sub-3-hour marathon, missed by 24 minutes, then trained for another year and ran a 2:48. His mindset: with a plan and follow-through, anything is achievable. Then there's Courtney Walter, the GOAT of trail running. Her journey also wasn't overnight. It began in 5th grade, running a mile in gym class. She loved the feeling, the control it gave her. Cross-country in 7th grade deepened that love. Running became her meditative space. She didn't even know what an ultra was until her mid-20s. After her first marathon, she sought bigger challenges, like a Tough Mudder. Then a 50K on dirt trails in 2011 hooked her on ultra running. Her first 100-miler in 2012 ended in a DNF at 60 miles. The pain was too much. She hadn't yet found her famous pain cave or developed the mental tools, but she bounced back. Her advice to aspiring runners: it's hard at first, but it's tiny, consistent blocks that you're adding, or grains of sand on the pile. Go tiny, but be consistent. Getting your shoes on can be the hardest part, but then it gets easier. Rich Froning Jr., fittest man in history with 4 CrossFit Games titles, is another icon of consistency. His success wasn't just genetics, it was a perfect storm of good parenting, faith, and learning from mentors. In a sport of shredded athletes, Rich's mental game, honed by years of running and mental conditioning in high school baseball, set him apart. He learned to play the big game one event at a time, pushing himself and those around him. He'd be in the house at 10 p.m. and feeling he hadn't done enough, would go get another 5K or hit the garage. There's no balance, Rich said. Not to be the best. His mantra: man, every day there's a grind. You wake up, today I just don't feel like it. But you just get up and go. Cam relates this to his own life, working full-time at the Springfield Utility Board while pursuing his hunting passion. Joe Rogan often encouraged him to quit his job, observing that most people are stuck in a dull drone and attack those who dare to live differently. Cam acknowledges that his body has adapted to the consistent load he puts on it over years, strengthening his joints, contrary to what many predicted. It takes consistent effort, years of work, to see that adaptation. The chapter concludes by extending this principle to shooting. Why consistent shooting? Fred Bear's wisdom. It is important to practice during a hunt. If you haven't shot for 3 or 4 days, that first one might be the worst arrow you ever released. For Cam, the core message is simple: consistent effort, period. Work, sweat, hurt, win, every day, no exceptions. This is the essence of get up and go, the unwavering commitment to the daily grind that forges the undeniable. Chapter 5. Just watch what happens. Discipline, in the world of Cam Hanes, isn't just about determination or consistency. It's profoundly about self-control, particularly when it comes to avoiding self-sabotage. He argues that big things matter most if you want to be the best, and a crucial big thing is not undermining yourself with choices like overindulging in alcohol or unhealthy habits. You can't go to McDonald's and booze it up and expect to be great. Many outliers Cam has spoken with share this battle, and Cam is brutally honest about his own. He reflects on his early 20s, a period of same shit, different day. After his family moved to Arizona when he was 17, he stayed in Oregon, bouncing around, flirting with disaster, all alcohol-related, low self-esteem, low ambitions. He'd drink to socialize, black out, and wake up feeling bad, then drink again to mask the pain. He didn't want to face reality. His lowest point, crashing his truck, presented him with a fork in the road. Breakdown or breakthrough. He chose the mountains. As author John C. Maxwell wrote, "Every major difficulty you face in life is a fork in the road." Every outlier Cam knows chose breakthrough. Natalie Eva Marie, known for WWE, now an ultramarathoner and hunter, shared a similar path. Despite early athletic promise in soccer, self-doubt plagued her. Like Cam, she found relief in drinking. A drunk driving accident that broke her nose was her last straw. At 23, with her brother's help, she got sober, attended AA, but relapsed after 9 months. Her then-boyfriend, now husband, Jonathan Coyle, gave her an ultimatum: get sober and work the program, or he was out. This was her pivotal fork. She chose sobriety, put herself through rehab, and her life became amazing. She signed with WWE, starred in Total Divas, and credits her success to the daily discipline of her 12-step program. "It's actionable steps on a daily basis," she said. "You have to battle your demons every single day. You gotta show up." Cam's younger brother, Taylor Spike, also faced his demons. Back surgeries and overweight issues led him to rely on beer and prescription drugs. At 34, he chose sobriety. But life threw a devastating blow. His stepson, Donovan, was killed in a car accident. Instead of caving to old habits, Taylor launched himself into recovery and running. "Life experiences make us better, not worse," Taylor says. "Life gives us all roadblocks." Running became his way to process pain, not escape it. His journey from an 8K he barely understood to crushing 200-mile ultras took years, built on the realization that if he can do this, I can do this. The musician Jelly Roll's story is one of profound transformation. He spent his 15th through 20th birthdays incarcerated. The moment a guard told him, "You had a kid today," on May 22, 2008, was his turning point. He got his GED in jail and vowed to quit selling drugs. He found his voice, literally, and his music, filled with raw honesty, led to Grammy nominations and CMT awards. His message: "They let a loser win tonight." He cherishes people who faced pressure and found a way. His acceptance speech resonated. "Success is on the other side of it. The windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason." Ken Rideout, the world's best marathoner over 50, according to the New York Times, also battled addiction. A successful finance career masked a growing dependency on Percocet. He became, in his words, a very good drug addict. After hitting rock bottom, he found sobriety and endurance sports. An Ironman in Hawaii became a brutal lesson when he quit mid-run, a fucking quitter. But he returned the next year and fixed it. Running became his therapy, his purpose. He now runs with a purpose, aiming to inspire others struggling with addiction, showing them there's hope, a light at the end of the tunnel, if you keep going. His take on life's choices. Want to go have an early dinner, talk, and drink wine? I'd rather be dead, but I'd love to skin a buck in the driveway while drinking coffee and listening to good country music on a chilly November day. Chris Williamson, too, recognized the pattern of self-sabotage in his own life. Growing up in the UK's lager lout culture, he found his progress reset every few weeks by hangovers. He decided to go sober for 6 months, then 1,000 days, and found the focused consistency it gave him was an incredible competitive advantage. Cam concludes by reflecting on his own Bigfoot 200 ultramarathon. Dehydrated and hitting the wall at mile 40, it took him a full day to recover while still in motion. At mile 130, in the pitch-black rainy night, with Taylor pacing him, he had a moment of clarity. Man, this is what it's all about right here. The pain of discipline pays off. Like Ken Rideout said, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Choosing to deny yourself something destructive, like alcohol, is sometimes the most powerful act of discipline. The critical step to just watch what happens as you unlock your true potential. Chapter 6. Bet on yourself. There's a crucial distinction, Cam Hanes points out, between believing you will find success and believing you deserve it. Life isn't always fair, and opportunities aren't handed out based on merit alone. To achieve big dreams, especially unrealistic ones, you have to first and foremost bet on yourself. Cam found himself deep in the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation, a legendary elk hunting ground he'd dreamt of since seeing a film about it 20 years prior. He marveled at the opportunity, questioning if he truly deserved it over others who might have endured more. Yet there he was. This feeling of unworthiness, of being an imposter, is a recurring theme, but it coexists with an unshakable belief in his own abilities and the value he brings. His journey into the business side of hunting began with a chip on his shoulder. He felt he was working harder and was better at bow hunting than most, yet the industry didn't see it. At a SHOT Show in 2004, he encountered the Under Armour booth. The sportswear giant, known for NFL and MLB gear, was launching a hunting division. A photo of NFL legend Randy White holding a bow looked inauthentic to Cam because the bow wasn't set up correctly. He pointed this out to Eric Crawford, his first contact at UA. This honest, if blunt observation started a relationship that lasted nearly 17 years, with Cam eventually becoming the face of their outdoor line. Initially, UA didn't pay him. They just asked him to represent the brand. The idea of making any money from hunting was once ridiculous to Cam, who could barely afford elk tags. But as UA legitimized hunting in the performance brand space, Cam's value grew. He met Kip Fulks, a UA co-founder who took over the outdoor division. Cam always hated the business side, contracts, royalties, but knew it was a necessary step. Being paid meant being one of the best. When Hoyt Archery approached him in 2005, Cam, hating negotiations, simply asked for a lifetime contract. They settled on an evergreen contract, effectively a lifetime deal. This path wasn't a grand plan. It was an evolution, driven by an obsession with bow hunting. His focus, he insists, has never changed, despite the business entanglements. He introduces Michael Waddell, another hunting icon who understands the business. Waddell, a good old Southern boy, went from winning turkey calling contests to guiding and filming for Realtree, eventually creating the hit show Realtree Road Trips. His personality changed the hunting industry. Waddell, like Cam, took a chance, leaving a stable HVAC job to pursue a dream with maybe a 15 to 20% chance of success. He kept working, chipping away, and as he said, all of a sudden, here we are. He emphasizes that neither he nor Cam can say they didn't work hard. Waddell's powerful question resonates. If you can't bet on yourself, who the hell are you gonna bet on? This is the core of the chapter. Every outlier Cam has met has bet on themselves. It's not about deserving success, but believing in your ability to achieve it. This meant Cam believing in his wilderness skills and his value to sponsors. He was, at times, a pain in the ass to people like Kip Fulks, demanding more because he believed he was worth it. Kip Fulks himself, despite co-founding a company that made him a multimillionaire by 32, is a testament to grinding it out. He didn't come from money. He worked multiple jobs, slept little, and put himself through college before co-founding UA. He emphasizes that self-promotion is necessary, even if uncomfortable. "Who's going to toot your horn if you don't?" Kip asks. He also acknowledges Cam's innovative early adoption of social media, stepping in where others in the hunting industry weren't. Cam recounts pushing UA for a new kind of film in 2018. Instead of a polished film 6 months after a hunt, he wanted daily 1-minute teasers on social media, culminating in a full film release by Friday of that same week. It was expensive, requiring editors on site, filming by day, editing by night, but Cam had a vision and believed it would work. The resulting film, Cam's Bull of a Lifetime, became a massive YouTube hit, proving his instincts right. He bet on his vision. The chapter closes with Aaron Rodgers, NFL legend, sharing his journey. Overlooked in high school, he went to community college, then to UC Berkeley, then faced the infamous NFL draft day slide. Each ego death, as he calls it, was a period of intense growth. He learned to use perceived slights as motivation, always believing in himself. His advice: the best players, the most successful people, are self-motivated. Cam ties this all back to the imposter syndrome he often feels, which Joe Rogan has called him out on. Rogan admits he feels it too, but doesn't express it as much. It's a byproduct of high standards and relentless work. The chapter ends with Cam, on that San Carlos hunt, hearing a bull bugle. It's a moment of destiny, earned not deserved, by consistently betting on himself, his skills, and his vision, even when it felt like the world, or his own doubts, were betting against him. Chapter 7. Smash the gas pedal down. Tenacity. It's the quality displayed by someone who just won't quit, who keeps trying until they reach their goal. For Cam Hanes, this is the driving force, the instinct to defy the civilized world, to embrace the wild, hungry nature within. He recalls an Under Armour commercial he filmed with a trained wolf, where the tagline was simply, "I won." The wolf, though trained, still possessed that wild, tenacious heart. Cam has spent a lot of time around wolves like that. This chapter is about that relentless, go until you redline and pass out mentality. It's embodied by Iron Michael Chandler, the MMA and UFC great, and the first official lift-run-shoot guest. Chandler's highlight reel is a testament to tenacity. Unanswered shots, lightning strikes, brutal takedowns. Yet he confessed that early in his wrestling career at the University of Missouri, despite being a hard worker and team captain, he didn't truly believe he deserved to win. He underperformed because of this cognitive dissonance. A fifth-place finish as a senior was a turning point. He promised himself this would never happen again as he moved into MMA. He exploded into Bellator MMA, going 12-0 with 9 first-round finishes. But then came losses. He'd gone 688 days without a win. He was building his body, but needed to do the mental work. He was, he said, underbelieving. Working with a mindset coach, Jim Hensel, helped him understand that sometimes you slay the dragon, sometimes you just get good at pushing him into a corner. Chandler embraces the idea of walk on, challenging his own doubts, knowing that even in bulletproof seasons, downturns will come. Fighting, he says, is a metaphor for life, overcoming odds, facing dominance, enduring crazy back-and-forth battles. Katie Knight, ultramarathoner, world's toughest mudder champion, and gym beast, is another paragon of tenacity. Born, bred, and corn-fed in Iowa, hard work is in her DNA. She trains twice a day, 6 days a week. From All-American hockey to CrossFit, to extreme triathlons and Gorak Games, she combines strength with endurance. She loves to push, to see what her mind and body can do, finding beauty even in suffering. Her edge? Just mental grit, she says. The ability just to keep going. In a 24-hour race, it's not if something goes wrong, but what? 12 hours in is when the race really starts. She believes, as long as there's no broken bones, your body will do what you tell it to do. It's usually the mind that goes first. She echoes a sentiment Cam often expresses: humans quit way before they truly have to. Ken Rideout again exemplifies this. For his first ultra, the Gobi March, a 7-day, 155-mile desert race, he told his sponsors he was going to win, not out of arrogance, but for accountability. "I cannot go in there and not empty the tank," he explained. "I have to either win or come back dead." He won. UFC Hall of Famer Donald "Cowboy" Cerrone carried an anytime, anywhere mindset throughout his career. His legacy? That fans knew when Cowboy fought, he was throwing down. Win or lose, he's bringing it. His work ethic, instilled by his hard-working grandmother, was foundational. He ran in slippers during his lift-run shoot, groin injury and all, and crushed it. He despises online experts who post quotes but don't live the hard life. The ones who aren't up at 3 a.m., grinding before a 12-hour workday, still getting it done. Olympian Matthew Centrowitz Jr., the 2016 1,500-meter gold medalist, shared his journey. In a sport where everyone is elite, the mental part is what separates winners. His Olympic final was tactical and slow, delayed by an overtime soccer match. Runners were cooling down, panicking. Matt stayed focused. Boxed in with a lap to go, he found an inside lane and made his bid for home, winning by milliseconds. He's known for his confidence, sometimes seen as arrogance, like his throat-slitting gesture at the 2011 NCAA Championships. "When I win, this is what I want to do," he says, embracing the villain role if needed, using haters as fuel. Cam brings this back to Courtney Dauwalter. He'd once jokingly proposed she try to win the Western States 100, Hard Rock 100, and UTMB, Ultra Tour du Mont Blanc, all in one summer. The triple crown of ultras. Absolutely someone could, she'd said, willing to try. In the summer of 2023, she did it. She won all three, breaking records in the first two. A feat never before accomplished. This is smashing the gas pedal down, pure mind over body, relentlessly pushing, even when nobody is ahead to chase, nobody behind to flee from. It's the epitome of tenacity. Chapter 8. Spend time doing something you love. Nothing happens without desire and passion. Otherwise, nothing else falls in place. This quote from Malcolm Gladwell encapsulates the core of this chapter. Cam Hanes has long believed that once you find your path to success in one area, that understanding, that way, can be seen in all things, a lesson he first gleaned from Joe Rogan quoting Miyamoto Musashi. Joe Rogan's own success is fueled by his passion for martial arts. From age 15 to 22, it was all he did. It gave him confidence and showed him he could do something terrifyingly hard and excel. This early passion, this muscle of discipline, still drives him. He's inspired by people with passion, which is why his podcast features so many unique guests who are deeply committed to whatever they do. For Cam, that passion was bow hunting. Rogan saw it in Cam's early YouTube videos and knew he was trying to be the best he could be. Passion, Cam argues, draws people in. It makes you stand out and allows you to impact others. Dr. Andrew Huberman, the rockstar neuroscientist, exemplifies this. His early obsessive passion for learning, fish, medieval weapons, biology, was almost a compulsion. After his parents divorced at 13, his life went super dark. By 19, he felt like an official loser. But a 2-page letter to his mom, essentially a promise to himself, marked a turning point. He poured himself into community college with the intensity of an athlete, memorizing textbooks, hitting the gym. He became an academic beast. He achieved his ambitious goals: PhD by 30, faculty position by 35, tenure by 40. His journey through decades of intense study and research was fueled by this reignited passion. He learned that confidence is built by doing hard, challenging things, by being able to honestly say, "I can do hard things." Some, like Huberman, find their passion early. Others, Cam notes, might put it on the shelf. Chris Williamson believes many childhood passions resurface in adulthood. For him, audiobooks evolved into podcasting. The key is to identify that thing you dearly loved. For Levi Morgan, it was always the bow. He couldn't have imagined his childhood obsession leading to a legendary career. Cam reflects on his own life. He was 20 when he found success in bow hunting and discovered his calling. That passion hasn't dimmed, it's intensified. He quotes Leo Buscaglia, "A life without passion is really no life at all. It's merely existence." Passion can also be an unexpected discovery. Evan Harfer, founder of Black Rifle Coffee Company, was 20 when a shot of espresso at Vivace Coffee in Seattle in November 1997 changed his life. Though he joined the Green Berets first, that passion for coffee remained. After years in special operations and as a CIA contractor, burnt out, he decided to build his own thing. With no money, no check from anyone, just a small coffee roaster in his garage, and his wife's knowledge of serving coffee, he started. His number one reason for success: "I kill fear. Fear is a cancer." He's 100% committed, never quits. He leveraged everything, pushed through incredibly hard times, and built a billion-dollar company. Passion for Evan isn't a gentle hobby. It's something you grind away at for a decade, something that pulls you through when things are fucking so difficult. Remy Warren, the renowned Western hunter, found inspiration in Cam's book, Backcountry Bow Hunting. He put in the time, 323 days in the field 1 year, making countless mistakes, learning, and failing his way to success. He gravitated toward difficult hunts, which allowed him to hunt longer. His success is built on intentionality. He knew he loved hunting and intentionally structured his life to pursue it. Cam connects this to Courtney Dowalter. Running, for her, should be fun. She chooses the suffering of races because it's her decision. Even on bad days, she finds joy in appreciating the small things. Her passion isn't just for competition, but for exploration, for all of it. Aaron Rodgers, too, is fascinated by people who master a skill, driven by their passion. He told Cam, "When someone's passionate about something, that's so inspiring." Cam concludes that whatever you're passionate about can elevate your entire life. He is an example. Joe Rogan found him through hunting, his passion. It led to conversations with outliers, forging new connections, all because he dared to chase what he loved. The chapter is a call to find that spark, that intense, driving, overpowering feeling, and to let it define your journey. Chapter 9. Face Reality. Roy Tough. Cam Hanes defines this as being unable to be broken, able to endure hardships and misery for a reward. This chapter delves into the brutal, unvarnished truth of what it means to be truly tough, to face reality head-on, especially in the unforgiving wilderness of Alaska, a place Roy Roth called home. Cam recounts a hunt on Kodiak Island with Roy. After 12 hard days, as they awaited their pilot, Roy, humming a Badfinger song, suddenly realized he still had a deer tag. "I gotta stay," he declared. "I'm not leaving for a hamburger." He sent Cam back, and alone, arrowed his biggest buck the next day. This commitment, this willingness to endure more, was Roy. Alaska, Cam explains, is another level of hunting compared to the lower 48. It forges a different kind of toughness. He recalls speaking at the Alaskan Bowhunters Association banquet, feeling almost inadequate addressing these tip-of-the-spear hunters. Roy had moved into this culture and earned their respect. Roy Roth, for Cam, set the bar for toughness. This admiration for rugged individuals traces back to Cam's grandpa, Bob Seabold, a tough, fair quarter-horse trainer who taught Cam about grit. After falling in love with bow hunting, Cam and Roy looked up to legends like Fred Bear, Chuck Adams, Bart Schleyer, killed by a grizzly in the Yukon, and Paul Schaefer, died in a ski accident. These men lived rich, adventurous lives, often cut short, but they didn't fit into conventional society. They were a different breed. Cam rails against those who question his methods, like pulling a heavy bow, merely to make themselves feel better for not being able to do the same. He and Roy compared themselves to these hardcore legends, not to average men. Roy was in this category. Cam once pitched a TV show, Beast Mode Bow Hunting, featuring Roy, but networks wanted a superhero persona from Cam, which he refused. He knew Roy was the true embodiment of beast mode. Bow hunters, Cam acknowledges, aren't the only badasses. His lift-run-shoot experiences have introduced him to many. He specifically highlights U.S. Marine Dakota Meyer, Medal of Honor recipient. Dakota, after a period of drinking and unhealthy living post-Marines, decided to change. He signed up for a 100-miler, which got cancelled, so he crushed a 50K instead. He believes resiliency is nothing more than the ability to stay in suffering so that you can learn more of the lesson. His mindset, forged on a farm and in the Corps, is results-driven. The chapter includes an excerpt from Dakota's Medal of Honor citation, detailing his incredible bravery during a 6-hour battle in Ganjgal, Afghanistan, where he made multiple solo trips into an ambush to save Afghan soldiers and recover fallen U.S. team members. Dakota doesn't see himself as a hero. He sees that day as his biggest failure because he couldn't save everyone. But he faced that failure, learned from it, and uses it to help others. Failing is nothing more than not getting the results you set out to get, Dakota says. Cam connects this to his own defining moment of facing reality. October 4th, 2015. While bow hunting in Colorado, he learned Roy Roth had fallen to his death off Pioneer Peak. Roy died doing what he loved, while Cam was doing the same. It was a monumental test. Roy was one of 2 men Cam truly looked up to, his dad being the other. He didn't sleep that night, but forced himself to go blood trail a whitetail he'd shot. He found the buck, a fine specimen he named Roy's Buck. Bow hunting would never be the same. The shared us against the world mentality with Roy was gone. The chapter then shifts to Cam's son, Truett, and his journey to break the 24-hour pull-up world record. Inspired by David Goggins, Truett first beat Goggins's own earlier record of 4,030 pull-ups. Then, he aimed for the world record of 8,008. His first attempt in April 2023 failed. He only got halfway. He'd told himself he was never doing that again. But after a break, he rededicated himself. During his successful attempt, where he completed 8,100 pull-ups, he hit a wall around 6,600. Cam reminded him of Courtney Dauwalter's DNF, how pain is part of it, and winners push through. Truett looked in the mirror and told himself, "You have more in you." He found another gear. Cam reflects on his own parenting, admitting he was intense, perhaps too hard on his sons, Tanner and Truett, taking them on brutal hunts from a young age. He learned Truett took an 8-year break from hunting due to this intensity. This was a tough realization, but he sees his kids now, Tanner, Truett, and his daughter Taryn, as hard-working, successful individuals, and he's immensely proud. Truett earning that world record showed just how tough he is. The chapter concludes with Cam returning to Alaska in 2021 for a spring grizzly hunt with Kip Fulks, his first trip back since Roy's death. It was about honoring Roy. He made a less-than-perfect shot on a grizzly at 50 yards. The bear charged. His guide, John Rydeen, and Kip's brother, Kobe, fired rifles, one shot hitting the bear's hip, diverting its charge. Cam, a bow hunter-only purist, was frustrated. It wasn't a true bow kill, but it was a team effort. The hunt was more than the kill. As he packed out the bear, he remembered the legend Roy Roth, and in the distance could almost hear Roy singing. This is facing reality. Life is competition, full of struggle, failure, and self-doubt. It's about how you confront it, how you carry on, and how you honor those who showed you the way. Chapter 10. Make the most impact. What do you want to be known as? Kip Fulks once asked. When you're gone, what do you want to be known for? I want to be known for being a fucking savage killer mountain man. That's it. This sets the tone for the final chapter. Finding and living out your purpose, and in doing so, making the most impact. Cam found his purpose in bow hunting. But your purpose, he clarifies, doesn't have to be bow hunting or even physical. It's about finding that activity that makes your life better, stronger. He references the film Once We Were Wolves, created by filmmaker Branlin Shockey, which documented Cam's return to Alaska after Roy's death. Branlin, son of hunting legend Jim Shockey and brother to trailblazer Eva Shockey, surprisingly, wasn't a hunter first. His passion was filmmaking, telling great stories that impact people's lives, often involving the outdoors and inspiring others to do more. He believes many are not living their best life because they've disconnected from that adventurous spirit that need to build forts and explore. Embracing your purpose is key. Tulsi Gabbard, politician and military veteran, is a prime example. Her journey from cleaning beaches in Hawaii to running for President of the United States was driven by a core purpose. How and where can I best be of service to God and be of service to others? How and where can I make the most impact? This singular focus gave her confidence, even as a shy 21-year-old knocking on thousands of doors. She doesn't draw validation from Washington, but from her daily opportunity to serve, rooted in her faith. Making an impact doesn't require a global stage. Ned Brockman, after his epic runs, emphasized legacy. Wealth is fleeting, but what we do leave is a legacy and the impact we have. He decries people wasting their lives, simply focused on themselves when their potential is to make an impact. It starts with one person making a change, creating a ripple effect. Dakota Meyer echoes this. Are you making the world a better place? Are you having an impact on people? That's what matters. Dr. Andrew Huberman, too, found that sharing his knowledge widely, rather than hoarding it, created a powerful, positive impact. Even a visit to a prison, Cam found, could be an opportunity to inspire for those incarcerated men to positively impact each other. He quotes David Weiscott, "The purpose of life is to discover your gift. The work of life is to develop it. The meaning of life is to give your gift away. If you're not making a positive impact, what's your point?" Evan Hafer, of Black Rifle Coffee, chooses to ignore hate and put fucking positive fuel back in the world, believing in the army of people like Goggins, Jocko, and Cam himself, who do the same. It's a professional runner, Sally McRae, known as Yellow Runner, embodies boundless enthusiasm. Her book, Choose Strong, details a life of immense hardship, an abusive father, her mother's death from cancer when Sally was 17, her father's arrest. Yet she radiates joy. Joy, she explains, is something that you can feel in darkness because joy is when it comes out. It's strength. It's rooted in gratefulness and hope. Her mother's deep faith, even at the end of her life, showed Sally the power of peace and hope. Sally's purpose is to live out her unique purpose with faith in Jesus Christ as her core. Running is her shiny object, a metaphor for life, a way to share her message of unconditional love and the importance of living with purpose. Michael Chandler also speaks of operating in gratitude. His life is a masterpiece he is painting, aiming to move forward toward the man he wants to become, making an impact. Cam recalls Jim Carter, a local hunter who hunted all September, inspiring Cam's own dream. That dream took 55 years to fully realize when he finally retired from his 9-to-5. He reflects on 34 years between his first and last bull, how bow hunting gave him purpose then, and still does. He embraces the impossible, and bow hunting defines him. The great world champion archer Levi Morgan shared a pivotal story. Early in his career, broke and defeated, his father paid for him to go to one more tournament. Just one time, you just go one more. Down 16 points, something clicked. He lost all fear, set a world record, and won. It was God, he believes, showing him, "Without me, you ain't doing this." Levi always gives God the glory, knowing his talent is a gift. Cam emphasizes living out your purpose. His brother Taylor runs with purpose, making a positive impact. Wayne Endicott, owner of the Bow Rack, found new purpose in street ministry after a spiritual awakening, realizing his sensitivity to God's calling. Roy Roth's legacy, Cam believes, was his mission to affect people for good through hunting. "I believe the hunting world is my mission's field," Roy had said. That legacy now extends through all the outliers Roy touched, including Cam. Life Cam muses can be funny. He hated public speaking, but now has a podcast. He never felt he had a purpose until Roy. But it evolved. He's been criticized for bringing too many people into bow hunting, but he believes sharing passion is vital. If icons like Fred Bear or Chuck Adams hadn't shared, would bow hunting exist? Sharing what we love, what gives us purpose, is what it means to be a healthy human. And so, the journey mapped out in Undeniable comes full circle. You aren't born undeniable. You work up to it, day after day. It starts with a purpose. Cam Haynes's purpose is to roam the mountains, bow in hand. What about you? What's your bottom line? Your breaking point? How far can you take your dream? Yesterday means nothing. Nobody cares. Work harder. The job is never finished. Man's greatest regret is unfulfilled potential. So, when your journey ends, will you be able to say, "Did I give all I had? Did I truly give all I had?" Today might be the greatest day you've ever known. Block out the noise. Write out your passion. Follow your purpose. Become tunnel vision focused. Be tenacious because it's going to suck. Be disciplined because it's going to get uncomfortable. Be confident. Be resilient. Be consistent. This is the essence of undeniable. To choose your suffering. Find a way. Make the shot. Get up and go. Watch what happens when you bet on yourself. Smash the gas pedal down. Spend time doing what you love. Face reality. And ultimately, make the most impact. Write your story. Starting today.